Bunch of questions, and he's like, Lana, I have so many questions, and none of this makes sense. Like, even like that day when I was down there, you know, Chris has never lied to me like that. Where would Chris come up with, like, you know, why are there all these versions then? And then some woman named Sherilyn Cadle writes a book, and then he's talking about how one of the kids fell asleep, and so he killed him twice. I mean, they're literally off the wall type shit. And I'm just like...
I know. But a lot of times, and that's where I go back to, you know, after I met with you guys, you know, I honestly, like, there's stuff that I never get off my brain.
Right.
But, you know, I sit back and I'm just like, what if he just didn't participate because he didn't want his family to be heartbroken with the facts? And, I mean, I know you have a discovery, and I know that his family, likely hasn't, read through it or rifled through it, and they don't have, you know, necessarily, a real statement or something coming out of Chris's mouth right now, or Chris didn't have to take a stand, or, you know, police reports and things like that are just synopsis of you know, testimony. It hurts a lot more when people talk about it and you hear it through your ears. And what happened? You know, why did you take a plea deal if you didn't do this? And here's what you're up against. And you don't want your name on what, his visitors list?
Yeah.
Why not? You are a nonprofit.
Oh, yeah, I guess I could go on with that then.
There's no reason for you to not be able to go.
You really think that's what you would do?
That's how they determine whether or not you are competent to stand trial. And if you are deemed not competent to stand trial, you go to CMHIP and you undergo treatment until you understand those 5 things. Even if I magically win a 35C motion, regardless of how great a case I think it is, the reality is Chris is likely not walking out of prison. I might win a 35C and get the girls taken away and get his wife down to second-degree murder if we win the 35C. And we might be looking at one, but it doesn't disrupt the fact that there is factual evidence that he removed the bodies.
I could never rope into temporary insanity, that those actions happen due to temporary insanity.
In Colorado, I don't know how well you follow Colorado, but it's either you're competent to stand trial or you're not competent to stand trial.
And so I called Ronnie up and said, hey, why? I was like, when you listened to that and you talked to, you know, Chris back in the day, he said that he told his lawyers, the truth, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, when we were in Denver, you know, that's what Shannon asked, you know, and he's like, well, I don't know. He's like, I don't even know what to, you know, basically Ronnie's just at a loss, okay? And I'm like, well, I think that changes a lot of things, because remember when we were talking, well, first of all, if Chris, you know, says this when he told his lawyers, he told them the truth, and then he told his lawyers, I don't want you to lie for me. You know, and then supposedly it was I don't know how this plea deal ever even came on the table when he took that or whatever, but, you know, everything that he supposedly told his attorneys, that was not, you know, he was never, you know, medically examined, all this stuff, but at the end of the day, it wasn't premeditated murder, and, you know, why wouldn't his attorneys, you know, go that route even, you know, even with everything, whatever. So my that money at, you know, at the end of the day, blah, blah, blah. Well, it ended up being the 2 girls that I was there with, they mailed themselves weed home. They got, I don't know, it got intercepted. I don't know if people got in trouble, but I said I want nothing to do with them or anything to do with that situation. Ronnie, if you want me, you know, to work with you, I just think I don't operate like that. That's not how, I don't know why in the world you would ever do something like that on a trip like that with that getting out, and then we're with Ronnie Watts and that gets out. I mean, are you people stupid? Because they mailed it from our hotel room to Florida and to Texas. So anyways, I would just kind of give you like a little bit of the background of like, you know, when we went out there, who I was with, and I just told Ronnie flat out, I said, you know, I don't trust those two people. I want, you know, we were supposed to use that girl's channel to raise this money. I said, I started up a nonprofit for, you know, all of this and to help other families. I said, I just, you know, my contribution to be able to help pay for something completely now has changed because we're not using that platform, and then that person went ahead and tried to, like, you know, do the whole rumors and lies about the family, all that crap, just however people do stuff like that.
Right.
I don't fucking know. But at the end of the day, it caused a huge, big rift, and that's when the family was just like, because they were getting blasted on YouTube. You know, Chris and the family, and then even like I was with like pictures or something on it's like all in these like Facebook underground like private groups. And I sat down with the family. I said, listen, you need to just stop. Like, nobody's in those groups. They're all trolls. Like, this is not on mainstream media. This is like people being, you know, bullies and, you know, whatever. Well, the family doesn't, I mean, they're just saying, like, it's just, we just take so much, like, how much more can we take? I said, don't watch the shit. How are you even, you're not even in those groups. How are you even seeing this stuff? Exactly. Well, then that was the issue that we had a problem with, because we're like, how are you going to come up with this money? Because all I said was, I have an idea. Why don't you guys just do an exclusive, okay? Get the money that, you know, People Magazine will pay you or whatever, and then be done with it. Do a one-time thing, be done with it, pay your attorneys, and then just, you know, or like I said, or you have to start endorsing this website because they, you know, you do have a membership to it. That's what the money goes to towards. I said, something has to give here. And, you know, we talked to Jane, and they knew, like, everything, like, about it, like, how we're raising this money, but here we have a big chunk that we can lay down and all this stuff, right? Well, I think that it became overwhelming. I think that cloud in the back of just, like, how are we going to come up with this money? Then people, like, they thought that I was trying to make them decide between, like, a longtime family friend and me, and I was like, no, this person needs to not be involved with any of the legal stuff. And that's the girl, Kelly, that was there, that was at that table with us. I said, you know, I don't know why she came to Denver. I don't know what she's been doing, but literally was just drunk and high the whole time, smoking weed before we came to your guys' place. And I said, what are you doing? Like, getting blasted. And I was like, you know, I can't operate like this. So, I mean, I don't know if you could tell anything that was going on, but you weren't there when we first talked to you the day before, you know, doing the same type of shit. And I'm just like, so now here we go, fast forward, it's, what is it, April, you know, we were there in the middle of, you know, February, so it's almost like it's been 2 months. And we pulled out, which it was awesome of Jane and David and Hollis and all them to reimburse, because they were on the case for a month. They gave the Wattses back their full retainer, which I thought was amazing. And because they understood the situation with, like, you know, I think they more like, they felt bad for the family. They've been through, you know, a lot, and so here we are. I kind of like wanted things to like die down, and I reached out, you know, to Ronnie, and I was like, hey, listen, I said, I really, really liked our conversation that we had with Shannon. I said, I know you guys have so many questions. I know that, you know, I said, you guys can sit here and say this till you're blue in the face that, you know, you can go on with your lives and things like that, but the truth of the matter is this is never going away, and unless you, like, deal with it on some capacity. I would just, like, that was like a friend-to-friend talk with, like, them to say. And I said, well, Ronnie, like, well, how do you feel? He's like, Lana, yes. He's like, you know, he's like, I have so many questions. I don't know. And we have all this stuff, and it's like, this isn't the truth, or what's going on? You know, it's just everything that we went to Denver to do. And then it got, like you said, if you go black, you know, absolutely. I said, that was our issue, though. To be able to afford, like, what this is going to cost, something has to give. I mean, where are you going to get this money from? It's not free, you know? I talked to Ronnie, and I was like, but I need your sworn secrecy that right now you don't say a word about anything. And I said, and I want you to be honest with me. Would you and Chris would you guys go forward with this? If we could ride under the radar, and we could maybe do it with somebody, like I said, with Shannon and them, and it would be something that, it's not even about winning the 35C. It's so that these people can have their lives back in a way. I said I think that it's winnable, don't get me wrong, but I also think that if you don't do it every single day, you're going to regret. You're just going to be like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. It's just like still it's just like, that's all I meant, that this is never going away unless you handle it.